Yeah.
You know what, David?
Okay.
I don't know what.
So, we are going to continue today, Matt, turn around. We are going to continue today with our script writing, and we'll make it fun today, and I think I'll tell you what I'm looking for as far as the next step of the process. But eventually, you guys are going to perform these scripts that you're writing. You and the partner that you're writing with right now are going to perform these. So you want to make it as dynamic for you as possible, right? And then, I don't know if you noticed in Infinite Campus, but I didn't give points for people to come at night to do theater tray. And the reason I didn't is because I didn't make that a class requirement the same way I do in Theater 4 and Theater 5. It's like ultra required in that class because it's kind of like a concert, choir, concert, band, concert, whatever. And I hadn't set up that expectation with you guys. So I never gave you points for coming that night, but you can claim thespian points, just so you know. Make sure you just let Emily know that. Now this next one that you're writing, how do you want me to grade that? Are you looking for me to grade it based on, we've worked really hard, we came up with this scene, let's develop a rubric that addresses our hard work, our first time writing skills, and how well we pull it off on stage? Or do you think it's a better idea for me just to pull out the thespian acting rubric or another acting rubric and assess you on that? How exactly do you want me to assess you on this next unit?
The first one.
That first one.
The first one? So that means that as a class, we're going to have to come up with a rubric, which we don't have to do today. We can do after fall break, that's just fine. But start thinking about, okay, I know that my work is excellent in this category, so I want to make sure this category is on the rubric. Or I know that compared to the way other people are dealing with this, that I'm a standout, so let's make sure this category's on the rubric. But I guess what I'm hearing is you're not so much about the acting skills this time, just the production.
It's both.
Yeah, what about like making a movement with both, like having like acting,
House
projection and writing?
Sure, absolutely. Well, last time we talked, we talked about the system of producing a play. We used I Never Saw Another Butterfly as an example of how Kale, what you thought maybe needed to be in a system of producing a play from start to finish. And this time, I guess what we're following up on that. If you want this kind of rubric, then you're thinking to yourself, all right, how did we start and where are we ending and what little things can be assessed in the middle? Okay? So I'm just throwing that at you today. It's not that we have to develop the rubric this minute today, last day before fall break. That was up. But just kind of think about it a little bit. Oh, okay, so the first thing we did was this activity where she tried to get us away from any false dramatic qualities. And should that be part of our rubric, how well that was pursued by us? The next step was to sort of record and remember what it was we talked about and just get it down on paper in the most natural language as possible, right? That was step 2 of our system. And so step 3 now today is going to be finish if you didn't get a chance to. And what you probably have so far is a conversation that just goes. Doesn't really go to any particular place, but you probably have lines that just go on, right? Hopefully they're sounding supernatural, and that's part of what I want you to look at today. Look back at them and say, ooh, that doesn't sound like me at all, so let's fix this line. Playwrights do that all the time. But then today what I'd like you to do is to add some sort of dramatic twist, some sort of suddenly something changes. This part will not be based on your conversation necessarily. This part never happened the other day. This part you're actually making up for dramatic license, right? You're going to add dramatic, something creative in there, because plays are not real life. We went through a period in our history where they did put real life on stage. I bet you didn't know that. They tried, it was called naturalism. They had a family living on stage, for instance, just living on stage, that's it. And you bought a ticket and you sat for as long as you wanted to and watched them live. And people were wondering, is that theater? Is that really theater? Now, we could debate that, but the consensus became no, because we go to the theater to see something a little heightened, something a little, the most important day in a person's life. That's what we want. We don't want to see humdrum every day. So change your scenes now a little bit, so it's not humdrum every day. Something happens, and then it gets resolved. Okay? That's the next thing you're going to do. But start thinking about rubric points so we can work on that after fall break too. Is that right?
So, right?
Okay, do that for a few minutes. I'm going to stop you after a while and talk to you about what's on the whiteboard too.
Oh, no.
Yay.
Right there, man.